What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Real Reds Talk, an authentic football fan channel made in Manchester. You are tuned in to Pros and Cons, a show where we pick at the positives and nag at the negatives. What a lovely result that was yesterday. I don't know about you guys, but I am feeling 10 tons lighter this morning, and it's not because of the poo I had, the big poo. It's because United have won a game. Whether we won it convincingly or not, I'm sure that's going to be in the pros and cons that we discuss. But scoreline, 4-0, fantastic. Multiple goal scorers, clean sheet. I feel, a lot lighter this morning. And it's felt a lot different, in previous games. So happy about that. Look, of course, it was difficult. 20-30 minutes at the start of the game. Everton pressed really well. I thought they had good intent, but they could not finish if they had Tingley Lube and Margot Robbie licking their ear. So was never worried about that, because after you saw them miss 4, 5, 6 chances, you're kind of just like, well, I mean, these guys could be going for 180 minutes and probably still not score. And they've still not scored this month, I don't think. Well, obviously that'd be a thing because it's December. But in November, I don't think they scored a single goal, Everton. So you can see why they've got the problems, and that was pretty evident for the first 30 minutes, and that is going to be a part of the negative side in terms of not how easy it was to play against them, because that's not the right word, but how much they let us off the hook a little bit, especially in the first half. But just a quick stat for you before we get into the pros and cons. Manchester United's 4-0 win over Everton at Old Trafford under Ruben Amorim is the biggest margin of victory for a permanent manager in their first home match in the competition for the club. So there's a little stat for you. But anyway, let's dive. I've got 2 negatives today, and then I've got 5 or 6 positives, I think, from the game. So let's dive. We always do the negatives first. I don't like ending on a bad note. And the first one, you guys won't be able to see it on TikTok, but if you hop over onto YouTube, you'll be able to see it. Fragile signs early. And it was a couple of instances where, I mean, in general, I thought Everton were better in a lot of departments. The first half an hour, I thought the intensity, the press, the organisation, the individual duels, physically quicker than us, better in battles, playing between the lines with ease. I mean, the amount of times that Dwight McNeil and Ndiaye was picking up in those kind of half spaces and running at our defenders was worrying. And it took us a while to kind of get to grips with it and close them down. And then, obviously, when there is a moment or a phase of play, just in general, whether it was Bodo Glimpse on Thursday night or situations, or maybe they're not reacting quick enough and they need to, I'm not sure you can improve on that if you're of a certain age. Do you know what I mean? So the fragility was there. If you actually look at the XG, it's not that like too big of a gap. Do you know what I mean? I think let me pull it up, because I'm sure it was like United's was like fucking 1.76 or something. And Everton's weren't far away. Let me have a look. I should have just had the stat up anyway, but no XG. Where's the XG at? It's somewhere. I can't find it. XG map. There we go. Right. So we had an XG of 1.07. Everton's was 0.58. So my point was, it's not that much of a significant jump, is it? Do you know what I'm saying? Like I said on the thumbnail, the actual score line was more flattering than what the actual game was, I felt. But obviously, as soon as you get that goal, confidence is flying, positivity is flying, and you can build on that, and that's exactly what we did. Now, the next negative. I thought Everton helped us a lot in this game, especially with the mistakes that they was making. I mean, their final pass at times when he was getting into the important areas, shocking. Decision making was really, really bad. If we get that space to Arsenal on Wednesday and Bukayo Saka is in that kind of area, you're getting punished. 9 times out of 10, you're getting punished by Ødegaard, you're getting punished by Saka, so you can't be doing that heading into this one. The mistakes that they made aren't things that usually happen under Sean Dyche. Like we said the goal scoring record's extremely bad, but also the defensive record is really, really good in terms of how many goals they're conceding, especially of late. So they don't make those mistakes. It's very rare, and I'm sure Branthwaite would have got absolutely bollocked in the dressing room when he got back in. But Yeah, they don't score many goals. You don't concede many goals. So it was a bit of an anomaly for those guys yesterday, everything that happened on the pitch. But look, you've got to take advantage of it. Just because they make a mistake doesn't mean it's always guaranteed to be a goal, does it? You know, you've got to pressure them, you've got to force them into mistakes, you've got to play the moment, and we did that. And I think AMAD was a massive, massive part of that. And obviously he's going to be on the positive section. But there's just a couple of negatives. I mean, you can't have too many, can you? When you win a game 4-0, how can you be, how can you have any more than two negatives? So they're the two little nitpicking moments that he had. But let's get into the positives, shall we? Noah's Ark, 2x2x2x2. So we had, obviously, 2 assists for AMAD and Bruno. Zirkzee scored 2. Marcus Rashford scored 2. And now all the attackers are contributing as a collective, which is what we've been stressing. And it's also what Ruben Amorim's been stressing for ages. He's been talking about this, saying that it's not, you can't just rely on one player and say, oh, Marcus Rashford needs to be scoring 30 or we won't win anything. No, everyone needs to chip in for goals. If you're an attacker, you've been brought in for a specific reason, right? It's because you need to chip in. For example, a couple of years ago, you had Ødegaard, double figures in goals and assists, I think. You had Bukayo Saka, double goals and assists. And then you had Martinelli, who was not far off, like he maybe had 9 goals and 11 assists or something. It's a team game. And yesterday, we had a team performance, especially in the attacking line, which we've been absolutely crying out for. And you had Rasmus Højlund, who scored 2 on Thursday night as well. So goals are starting to flow now, which is great. And if you look at our goal scorers so far this season, I think this is in all comps. It must be in all comps. Maybe not. I don't know. It might just be the league, actually. So, Garnacho's on 8. Marcus Rashford's on 7. Bruno Fernandes and Eriksen on 4. Rasmus Højlund on 4. Casemiro on 3. AMAD on 3. Zirkzee on 3. And then there's like a couple of others who have got 1 goal. Or 1 assist or what have you. Then you go into the assists. You've got Bruno on 9. Garnacho on 5, which actually does surprise me. AMAD on 5, Eriksen on 3, Rashford on 3, Dalot on 2, Mazraoui on 2. So the numbers are starting to go up slightly. It's no way near good enough, especially when you look at certain players in the league, the numbers they're putting up. You look at Liverpool's forward line, for example, the numbers that Salah's doing and Diaz and all these guys. You want to get to that level. But it's a process, right? It'll take time. You've got to do it step by step. I acknowledge that and completely understand it, for sure. But one bad news. I mean, maybe this positive should have been first, and I want to talk about AMAD and his contracts, because this kid is a special talent, man. He's a special talent because when other teams are talking about him the way they do, I mean, I've watched a lot of creators over the past couple of days who aren't necessarily fans of United, but when they speak about AMAD, they're like, that boy is special. He's got something. What an absolute superstar we've got on our hands. Superstar. To think he couldn't get a game over Anthony, Forson, and Pellistri last season is just... I don't get it. Really, really don't get it. There was question marks initially when he wasn't getting game time that people were talking about, or maybe he doesn't work hard enough. That's utter bollocks. You look at the counter press yesterday, so good, forcing mistakes, relentless in his game. Got 2 assists, but was pivotal in the majority of goals that we scored in the game anyway. And he keeps going from strength to strength. I was a little bit worried initially about the wing back area, because I'm not quite sure how it would operate. I felt like, if you come up against the bigger teams, which we haven't done yet. I mean, since Ruben Amorim's come in, we played Ipswich, we've played Bodo, and we've played Everton. And with all due respect, that's 2 teams in the Premier League that are near the bottom of the table, and Bodo Glimt is like 56 in the coefficient ranking. And Bodo Glimt scored 2 goals. So let's not get ahead of ourselves here. They've done really, really well. But yeah, he's had space to operate, and the big teams won't give you that much. And also, the big teams will pin you back as well. Like, if you're coming up against these guys like Saka or Savinho or Salah or Diaz, you ain't going to have that much freedom. You're going to be doubling up quite a lot. And then that's when the system turns into a back 5. If you look at Ruben Amorim, when he played Man City in the Champions League with Sporting, it turned it, rather than a 3-4-3, it was more of a 5-2-3, because the wing backs were just proper pinned defending for a lot of the game. So, yeah, I'll do my proper analysis when I see those kind of games, when he's a bit back, but then does he get his opportunities on the counter attack? that's where I'll make my proper kind of assessment. But AMAD Diallo, for sure, him, Mazraoui and Onana have been our best players this season, hands down. And hopefully they stay in the team for a while. Amad's still got years left in him. Mazraoui still got fucking years left in him. And Onana's still got years left in him. Onana as well, he's not in the pros today. But 6 clean sheets. He's got the Golden Glove so far, which is, I don't know. I don't understand how this has happened, to be honest with you. Genuinely. I don't get it. I don't get how we've got the most clean sheets in the league. Does that not sound? It just sounds mad, doesn't it? Like how we've been dog meat, mate. We've only just gone into the top half of the table, and somehow we've got the most clean sheets, and we've conceded, apart from Liverpool, the least amount of goals. United, we've been 13th for what feels like forever. It don't make sense. Really don't make sense. Zirkzee's first servable performance. Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned Zirkzee. It was at Robbie Hall, because Zirkzee is next on the positives. The Zirkzee bounce back. Now, again, I'm not going to get ahead of myself. There's certain people who are still calling him John Walters from Stoke. There's people saying he's a slug. He won't thrive in the Premier League. And obviously, the people are still going to criticise him. That's absolutely fine. I get it. But over the past couple of weeks, I felt like the criticism and the speculation weren't really warranted. A lot of the sources where it was coming out from was just bollocks, basically. And then some of the criticism got a bit personable. You had Neil Custard, or Neil Custis, for anyone who doesn't know. He's a journalist around Manchester United who works for The Sun. Just Google an image of him and you'll understand what I'm saying. Neil Custard, we call him Custard for a reason, because his face looks like it's dripping in custard. And also his name's Custis, so it kind of, you know what I'm saying? But this is a guy who was calling him fat and overweight. Neil Custis. It's crazy. So he went for a tough time, couple of weeks where he was coming on, and United fans weren't convinced of his cameos, and neither was I. I had to agree with it. But first and foremost, those 2 goals that he scored yesterday will do him a world of good. Even his role for Rashford's second goal, I think it was, where he dropped deep, left, for some reason, Mikalenko drifted into the middle, and then AMAD on the right-hand side, shitloads of space, fed Rashford in. Rashford scored his second goal. Little bits like that where he is dropping deep. Much cleaner on the ball yesterday. Much more cleaner. Combines well with Rashford. Don't know who that is. Rashford. Combines well with Rashford and AMAD and Bruno. You know, he's got that chemistry there, which is important. And these connections are important to kind of develop and build on. And now we need to see him stay with this consistently. And I'll say the same thing for Rasmus, because Rasmus scored 2 against Bodo Glimt, right? So it's all good scoring for one game, sorry. Let's continue that. Can't join for 2 minutes to my chat, bro. What? Can't join for 2 minutes for the chat? What the fuck does that mean? Oh, can I join and chat? No, I'm on live YouTube and live TikTok. So if I go live with you, then people aren't going to, you know what I mean? The audio's not going to cross over. Liverpool have the most clean sheets, but 2 different goalkeepers. It's because Alisson has been injured. Yeah, I weren't comparing it to Liverpool in terms, because they've been solid defensively. I'm not saying United are the same as Liverpool. That's not what I was getting at. I'm on about all the other teams. Man City have conceded more goals than us. Arsenal have conceded more goals than us. That's what I'm more shocked at. Not the fact that Liverpool are, up there. It's crazy. Right, let's see what everyone's saying in the chat then. Please do smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel. I've still got a few positives that I want to discuss, but of course, I want to hear your opinion. So T2DSO saying, good afternoon. I actually struggle to believe how low our XG was, given 2 goals were essentially tap-ins. I know. And sometimes there is a bit of a nerdy debate ongoing with XG. Some people don't read into it. Some people swear by it. It can be manipulated in certain situations, because if you go 3-0 up in a game, the likelihood is that you might be a bit lapse in concentration, let a few more chances in than you normally would. And do you know what I mean? Like, it can be tweaked slightly in certain games. It depends on the circumstance, doesn't it? Prabhav Quandela, not seen that name for a while. Hope you're good, brother. Saying, just glad we won a proper game in not so long. Absolutely. Box saying, not bad for a 20-year-old Garnacho. 8 goals and 5 assists, considering a lot of the fan base absolutely hated him and want him sold. Well, I am not a part of that group, I can assure you of that. But let's have a look at Garnacho's stats. Again, he's not on the positives list. But if you go back to last season, he's already improving on it, that's what you want. You want something, you want evidence that you can cling on to. So in all comps, 8 goals, 4 assists this season, Garnacho. Last season, he had in all competitions 10 goals and 5 assists. So if he gets another 2 goals and 1 assist, he's already equaled his record from last season. So that is measured improvement from a winger. Do you know what I mean? So happy with that. De Gea won the Golden Glove a few years ago. We finished about 30 points from third. Great point. It's a good point. Amir Fikri says AMAD Diallo has something special about him. Absolutely. Paul Warby saying, hi, mate. I hope you're good, Paul. Thank you for joining me, man. Nice to see Zirkzee and Rashford get a few goals. Let's hope the confidence comes from that. Now, you mentioned the name Marcus Rashford, and you're damn right. That's next on the list, people. Is it Rashford 4.0? That's almost tongue-in-cheek from me, so don't take it seriously. But if you read into the reports, which I don't know if you guys you believe gossip and I'd say gospel then. I'm not asking you, are you religious? If you believe rumours and reports, apparently he's got a new girlfriend who I actually know. I know her a bit. I don't know her like friend, but I know who the girl is, which is like bizarre. But anyway, yesterday marked 2 years that Rashford scored 2 or more goals in a single Premier League game, with the last instance of that going back in February 2023 against Leicester City. He has now scored back-to-back Premier League matches, scored in back-to-back matches for United under Ruben Amorim, 3 goals, as many as he managed in his previous 23 matches under both Ruud van Nistelrooy and Erik ten Hag. But the thing is, and a huge question mark over Marcus Rashford, and it's always been there, and I'm almost I am sick of talking about it, because it's like he has a good performance, and it's not like anyone can really sit there and praise it or criticise it. The only question after is, yeah, but he can turn up for a manager for 6 months, but then what's going to happen after that? He needs to keep this consistency now, because if he dips again, I think United fans, I think a lot of them have already lost it with Rashford. There's been loads of people who was saying sell him and da-da-da, and people have just completely lost their head. And I get it, I understand it completely. But look, is it the worst thing in the world if he goes back into that form until the end of the season anyway, and then you can assess it in the summer? Do you know what I'm saying? I'm just happy for him that he's scoring goals, but let's see if you can maintain it. Let's see if you can keep scoring, because look, there's never been a doubt where you've said he's not a good player. He is in there. You just have to unlock it, and whether that is a new girlfriend or something that's going on outside of football, or the new manager actually suits him this time, I don't know. I'm not really gonna, again, like most things, really deeply assess it until we are 6 months in under Amorim, and when the honeymoon period, as they call it, is over. Then I'll really judge him, because right now it's like everyone's trying to impress the manager. Everyone's got confidence because they're in a new belief kind of system. I'm being a bit more level-headed with that personally, but let's hope he continues. That's all I'll say. And the last positive, squad depth. Thank you for the roses, Garnacho. Appreciate it, brother. Squad depth is one I was looking at yesterday, right? So whichever way you want to look at it, the bench we had yesterday was worth £350 million. So we had £350 million worth of talent. We had Maguire, Shaw, Ugarte, Garnacho, Mount, Bayindir, Malacia, Antony, and Højlund. Right? Just for a comparison, right? The bench, when we lost 4-0 to Crystal Palace away, on that bench, we had AMAD, Amrabat, Wheatley, Bayindir, Heaton, Ogiene, Louis Jackson, Harry Amas, and Toby Collier. The difference is night and day. It's in terms of the internationals that we've got on the bench, in terms of the experience as well in players like Maguire and even Mount and Shaw as well, obviously, who's been at United for almost a decade. So it makes a huge difference when you can rotate, you can start to manage minutes, and you could just offer something different. If you're a team and you're in a proper back and forth battle and it's tough and it's tricky, and you go, right, we can bring Mount on, smart player, press, intensity, Maguire leadership at the back, although he did look a little bit rusty, I'll say that. Garnacho as an impact is really, really good. Luke Shaw can come on and offer something slightly different. Rasmus Højlund, who didn't even get on the pitch, maybe you could have brought him on. Zirkzee scores 2, Rashford scores 2, take him off, keep him hungry when they're on the hat trick, put Rasmus on, get him a goal. These are the things that you could tweak, you could push competition when you have players available. And I'm not saying it was Erik ten Hag's fault why they weren't available. Maybe it was in certain training methods or the way he was working them. But the fact that we've got squad depth and the fact that we've got options, really, really good. And like I said, it can make a huge difference when you can rotate and manage certain minutes, especially with this busy festive period that we've got ongoing at the moment. We've got 8 games in December. We play Arsenal, City, Forest, Spurs, Newcastle in them 8 games. So it's going to start getting tough. These are all teams that are in or around the areas that we want to push towards. So yeah, you've got to manage these guys, and you've got to rotate and bring it. I mean, who's going to start against Arsenal? People probably couldn't even name that now. No one thought Zirkzee, for example, would start yesterday. Comes in, scores 2 goals. So what Amorim's actually trying to do is get each player, give them 30, 40, 50, 60 minutes, whatever it is, get him used to this system, get him used to these ideas, get confidence flowing in him, and trying to do it all at the same time, because he doesn't have much time. You can't train him. You literally can't train him. We played Everton yesterday. We played Arsenal on Wednesday. And then we've got a game. Who do we play on Saturday now? Forest on Saturday, I think it is. So there's a quick turnaround. You've got no time to train these boys. You've got to do it in game, which is risky. Which is why I'm saying just steady on. And I think this is why Amorim said after the game as well. Against Bodo, we thought we deserved more. We won 3-2. Against Everton, we won 4-0, and we thought Everton deserved more. So he's balancing, and he's giving realistic expectations for the fans, because people might go into this Arsenal game and they might think, and there's nothing wrong with it at all, they might think 4-0 over Everton, going into this confidence, Arsenal have been a little bit shaky. No. We make, like I said at the very start of the show, when I was discussing Everton's fragility, you make those mistakes against Arsenal when they have Bukayo Saka, or they have Ødegaard or Havertz, and these guys operating in them areas, they'll punish you and they'll kill you. That's the difference. So you can't be starting, just getting into kind of 4th, 5th gear when the second half kicks off, because they'll be there from minute 1. You know what I mean? Someone said, once Yoro's fit, I'd say we have pretty good depth at centre-back. Yeah, Yoro's an interesting one. I thought Yoro would have been available for the Ipswich game. But, I mean, he's not even been in the squad. He weren't even on the bench yesterday. So, obviously, they're managing him. They know his potential. They know what he's capable of. But they don't want to rush him back, especially being a young player. Can damage confidence. Can really set you back. So, they don't want to be risky with that. But I completely forgot about Yoro. We've still got him to come back into the team. I think, genuinely, in this, I think what the starting lineup will be once everyone's fit and up to speed, or what at least I'd have Onana in net, I'd have Yoro as the right-sided centre-half, but then Mazraoui, I'm like, where the fuck's Mazraoui going to go? I mean, Mazraoui could play anywhere, he's a chameleon, but that's actually a good point. There will be rotation, but the way Maz has been playing at the minute, do you want to take him out and put Yoro in? Or do you move Mazraoui to the left wing-back spot, potentially? Take Dallo out from there, and then put Yoro on the right centre-back. Put Shaw a left centre-back, because I think he could do a better job than Lissandro, just being completely honest. Keep De Ligt as the central centre-back. I think Ugarte and Mainu potentially in the midfield would be the combination I would go with. Keep AMAD at right wing-back, 1,000,000%. And then I don't know. The forward line's the one where I'm like, can you put Mount, Rashford, Zirkzee, Højlund, Bruno? Like, Bruno's in there definitely, but then I don't know. There's going to be loads of rotation, but the front 3 is the one where I'm not absolutely guaranteed and convinced on. Do you know what I'm saying? So, I don't know. There's few certified ones that I'm like, definitely they should go in there. But, I mean, that's what you want, right? You want competition for places. You want everyone to push each other and get to that high level. That's what we need. Thank you for all the gifts. Appreciate it. Hard one, bro. If you can't win it, you don't lose it. I don't get that. There's a good comment in before that I don't want to miss. Do you think United will get a result on Wednesday? I don't know. My gut right now is when I don't think we're at that level. I think you can still put in a good performance and be competitive. And let's say you lose the game 2-1. I'm not saying I'd be happy with that. I want to win every single game as a United fan. Let me stress that to people. I want to win every game. But I'm just being realistic. From what I've seen, I know we beat Bodo, I know we beat Everton, and we drew against Ipswich. I think it'll be difficult, but I think we can give a good account of ourselves and be competitive. Do you know what I mean? Because it's at the Emirates as well. It's not like it's at Old Trafford either. So I hope we can. I hope we absolutely, give them a good game and don't just lie down and lose 4-0 or 5-0. because I think that'll set us back a little bit in terms of confidence. But Amorim's beaten Arsenal before, right, with Sporting in the Champions League, I'm pretty sure. He knows how Arteta plays. He knows how to play against him, obviously. Does the same thing with Pep Guardiola. So that's another thing to consider. But listen, I'll save myself because we're going to do the Arsenal preview maybe even later. Maybe it's today at 7 o'clock. So, yeah, make sure you guys come and tune in for that. And if there is people on TikTok right now, I've not even mentioned it, we're obviously live on YouTube at the same time as well, doing these pros and cons, and you get the graphics actually on the screen, and there's a good community in here, loads of people, real Red Talk members and stuff. So if you want to be a part of the community, and hop over on YouTube, the link is in the bio on TikTok. We're on 8,601 subscribers, so we are 1,399 subs away from 10k, which is absolutely amazing, and that's because of you guys. So really, really appreciate every single one of you, and even people who interact on TikTok as well. Yeah, once we get there, we're going to do something special. So, Rasmus's first choice, in my opinion. That's from Box. Paul Warbeck, nice. Oh, I think I've already mentioned that. Sorry. I think Mount can be a key figure, absolutely, but he's got to stay fit. If Euro's injury is misjudged, it could haunt his career. Well, look at Lisandro. Lisandro also had a metatarsal injury, right? And came back, had a setback, was out for another couple of months. So that is 100% the last thing that they would want to do with a young player. Last thing. So I don't mind if they're taking it. It's not like we're desperate for him, is it? With all due respect. We're not. Majari's playing there and he's doing a great job. So if he needs another 2 weeks, do it. Take time. I miss you. Where are you, Alice? Alice hasn't been on for about 2 months, I don't think. So, but we will get her back on at some point, I'm sure. Ugarte or Casemiro, Pocket, Odegaard, we should be good. Amorim doesn't have a favourite player. He gives everyone a chance. Exactly. And it's going to be a level playing field for a while, for sure. But it feels like things are starting to click again slightly. No doubt about that whatsoever. Midweek, like I said, it's going to be very tough against an Arsenal team who started to win again. But this is Amorim's process at the moment. Arteta has been at Arsenal for, what? How long has he been there now? 6 years? Has it been? Something like that. So, you know, these players are all his players, are all in his system, they're all used to it. And they've just got some of Saka's flying at the moment. He's going to be hard to shut down. And you look at our areas of weakness, that left-sided centre-half bit, when there's space there, that's what I'm worried about specifically. But look, there's still plenty of things to work on. That Arsenal game's not going to be the be-all and end-all of our season. But we need to go into that competitive-wise and put up a fight. But I will wait for my full thoughts and analysis on that when me and the lads do the preview later on. I'm excited to get into that. So please do come and join us if you are free and available around 7 o'clock or 6:30. It may be a little bit early because I'm working tonight at 5. So, yeah. And then, yeah, this last bit is where you guys come in. So if there is any pros or cons that I've missed out specifically about the Everton game, now's your chance to get them in and I'll read them out. Copy Manu in the chat. Imagine if there's a real copy. AMAD is our most important player in the system without him. Yeah, I was questioning the wing back situation, but questions answered, innit? You don't need to question it anymore. AMAD's got a whiff of 3 Lung Park about him. Makes a massive pest of himself. Love that. I would be happy with a draw away at Arsenal. I'd take a draw at Arsenal. There's not even shame in saying that. Absolutely, I'd take a draw at Arsenal. You got to think, we're like, the league table now, things can change so quickly. Like, we've just crept into the top half of the table, right? I think we're 9th. And we go into the table. I mean, actually, I've not even considered it, but if you beat Arsenal, which is obviously a big ask, but it's not out of the realms of possibility, they're second at the moment, right? We beat Arsenal, we go 3 points behind them. They're second. That's how quick your season can change. The points gap and how competitive it is, it's like a shuffleboard, man. Teams are going up, down, up, down, up, down. Aston Villa are 12th at the minute. 3 places behind us. 12th. After the start of the season they had. Mad. Utter madness, honestly. So you can change your fortunes around. People will start talking about Champions League again. That's not easy it is, but that's how quickly things can change in football, and I suppose that's why we love the Premier League, right? That's what it's all about. But yeah, just to end on a bit of news that we had coming in, Amad's contract is being pushed, of course. I mean, I don't know why they've not done this earlier, but United are working on that now, and I'm sure news will be announced about that shortly. Quick start here on Lisandro, made more interceptions than any other centre-back in the Premier League this season. There was news about Dalot going to Madrid. and a few other little tidbits, but yeah, that's just to update you on the general news. I am going to head off, guys. Remember, after every single game, we have this pros and cons show. I love people getting involved and giving their opinion. We go through the positives and the negatives, but we're also going to have the Arsenal preview tonight. I'm going to film the Prem predictions as well, because obviously we've got, I know it's the same game week, but it's like part 2 because we've got more fixtures on Tuesday and Wednesday, and then we've got loads of stuff coming up. So yeah, appreciate everyone locked in, all the community. If you want to become a member, £2-3 a month, supports the channel, goes back straight back into it. They click the join button next to the notification bell, smash a like in the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you